name's Eric Hires. I know most of you. I'm David's campaign manager. Thrilled to be back here in Rhode Island doing the re-election. And I can tell you right now, we're going to win this race. Yeah! We're going to win this race because of the energy in this room, because the hard work has already been done by you guys, and it's going to be done over the course of the next 90 days to the primary and then to the general election. So all I want to say is thank you again. I'm going to introduce our great party chairman, Ed Pacheco. The congressman's going to talk, and then after this, it's very important. There are different signs all around this place. This is Providence, East Bay, the North, wherever you are from. I want to introduce you to your own personal field organizer who's joined the campaign. They're going to be in this room or that room, depending on where you live. They're going to give you their contact information, tell you how we can best get you involved. Please meet them. They're all great. And again, East Bay is over there, Providence, the North, and East Providence, I think, is right around the corner. So without any further ado, our terrific party chairman, Ed Pacheco.
Shorter than you are. Chair for the chair.
First off, let me just say, the first reason I say you should vote for Dave Cicilline, he was smart. It's getting hot in here, and he took off his jacket and tie before he came over here to speak. So unlike myself, I'm still wearing it. But at any rate, look, thank you all for being here this evening. You know, I want to first say, I've known David since he was in the legislature. He announced he was running for mayor. I was an intern and then working with Eddie Inman on his campaign for Secretary of State. And I can tell you, any time throughout the city of Providence that when David was running mayor for the first time, he was everywhere. He was the hardest working candidate I had ever seen out on the campaign trail. Not just at the debates, not just knocking on doors, but on the phone, showing up to, you know, everything from the planting the tree to making sure that the local community center knew that he was there and that he cared about the work that they were doing for the citizens of the city of Providence. That hasn't stopped in Congress. We all know what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now. The problem is it's nothing. And there's a small group of 80 Tea Party Republicans in the United States Congress. They're holding up any progress that there is to be made in the United States. Any progress. Any of you that's heard Sheldon Whitehouse over the past few months, he likes to talk about a transportation bill. Simple funding appropriation to pay for bridges, roads, repairs. Money that's going to help put Rhode Islanders back to work, to help put Americans back to work. Republicans are holding that up. This is common sense. And we have people in Congress that are trying to do common sense approaches, common sense ideas to make sure we have results for Americans across this country, and David's doing that for everyone right here in Rhode Island. He's not just doing it in Washington, D.C., because I tell you, I get all the emails, like all of you. He's doing a constituent meeting every other week. He's doing events on housing, mortgages, Social Security, information for constituents across the congressional district, and even folks that are just looking for some place to turn for information that call his congressional office. Just because they don't necessarily reside in the 1st Congressional District, they're still putting them on the right track, pointing them in the right direction, and getting people answers, because that's what they deserve. That's what we all deserve. A congressman that responds to the needs of their constituents from all across Rhode Island. This election, there's one thing I want to leave you that's most important. It's no longer enough to have a D next to your name. It's no longer enough. You have to understand the principles, the banner that stands for the Rhode Island Democratic Party, and what we have all worked so hard to achieve over these many years as a party in this state. David has upheld every single one of those standards, has upheld every single one of those principles. I can tell you, as the chairman over the past 3 years of the Rhode Island Democratic Party, and visiting all different states across this country, talking with my fellow chairs, there is no one more prouder of a federal delegation than I am of this delegation and being led with the help of David Cicilline in the United States Congress. We need your help. David needs your help. There's a lot of work to be done. And he's going to get up here and tell you all the ways that you can help him in his campaign. Believe me when I say, we cannot take this election for granted. It starts with the President, the U.S. Senate, but CD1 is a priority. We need to send a message to Washington, D.C. that Rhode Island is going to be a part of the solution, that we're going to take back the United States House of Congress, and we're going to maintain the Senate and help push the United States forward and make progress for all Americans. And that's going to be with David's leadership on behalf of Rhode Islanders. David Cicilline.
Say thank you to everyone who is here. I'm incredibly grateful. Everybody in this room has already helped me in some way, and I'm going to, of course, ask for your help throughout the course of this campaign. There are lots of really wonderful elected officials here who I enormously respect and have been great friends, but I want to just acknowledge, because if I start to acknowledge everyone, I'll forget something. But as our host mayor behind me, the mayor of East Providence is with us, so thank you. Our Attorney General is here, Attorney General Kilmartin. Providence Town Council President Kristen Catanzaro, who is somewhere, Councilman Lynch. I and many other wonderful National Committee women, and O'Neill Matson. But I want to just say thank you very much for being here. And we have put together the field operation, begun to put together a field operation for this campaign. My campaign manager who ran my last campaign is back with a great field team. We have been building in every city and town in the district a leadership team to really work so that we have 20 leadership teams covering every single city and town in the 1st Congressional District. This campaign is going to be won the good old-fashioned way, with door knocking and phone calling and face-to-face contact, where we can tell people that I can tell them and you can tell them on my behalf what's at stake in this campaign. And I know everyone says this, this is the most important election of our lifetime. But it really is, and I'll tell you why. The election and the last election of the Republican leadership in the House, which has really been taken over by the Tea Party caucus, is really on the ballot this year. People are going to decide whether or not this group that is taking control of our country in many ways should have earned the right to lead the Congress of the United States for 2 more years. And I think when they got elected, everyone wasn't sure exactly what the Tea Party stood for. I'm not sure they knew what they stood for. But 2 years later, we know what their priorities are. And these are a group of individuals who really don't believe in the public space. They don't believe in public education. They don't believe in public health. They don't believe in clean air, clean water, food safety, women's rights, education. And the best example of that is a budget they passed just a month ago, authored by Paul Ryan. This is a budget document that in the same document eviscerates funding for infrastructure, slashes education funding, cuts Pell Grants, cuts Head Start, ends the guarantee of Medicare, provides for another tax break beyond the Bush tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, keeps $40 billion in oil subsidies over the next decade, keeps in place tax breaks that are shipping American jobs overseas. Those priorities do not reflect the priorities of Rhode Island. They don't reflect the priorities of our country. And so what I've been working on is doing everything I can, along with our great delegation, to get Rhode Islanders back to work, reinvigorating American manufacturing with this whole Make It America agenda, by focusing on rebuilding our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our ports, our transit systems, by investing in education, by helping small business, by understanding that we have to deal with the deficit, but we have to do it in a responsible and balanced way, by closing loopholes, by passing the Buffett rule, by ending subsidies to big oil and big agricultural corporations, and do it in a balanced way, and protect our veterans and our seniors, and understand the importance of making investments in education, both in the early years and through the Pell Grant period. These are really different views of what we should have in this country. And this election is ultimately going to be about whether or not we're going to move forward by making those right choices, or whether we're going to go back to the policies of the George Bush years that really led to the challenges we face as a country. And it's going to be a tough race. Everyone always says your first re-election is your hardest. I've made sure that's the case for all of you. It only makes me feel that much better when we do it. It's an important race, and I tell people it's a fight worth having, because we're really fighting over this, really fighting for the soul of this country, for the kind of America that we all know and love, where you can realize the American dream, where we create opportunities and create, ladders to success, and remove barriers to success, and instead of focusing on taking care of the people who have already achieved the American dream. And it's because there are folks in Washington who are committed to one thing, the defeat of the president. They are unwilling to make progress on the transportation bill, on a variety of other pieces of legislation, because they don't want to do anything which is going to help the president, even though it helps the country, by the way, because they are singularly focused on defeating the president. And you know, we have the transportation bill passed by 74 members of the Senate, bipartisan.
Yes.
Barbara Boxer, the most liberal member of the Senate, and James Inhofe from Oklahoma City, one of the most conservative, they reached agreement. Our House Republican leadership, the Speaker, will not take the bill up. 2.9 million jobs for our country, 9,000 jobs for Rhode Island. He won't take it up because it will pass, because the Democrats will vote for it. And so that's just the most recent example of this kind of obstruction. And this is going to be a fight. It's a fight we have to win. I know we will win. I need your help. I need your help in helping us door knock and call and talk to your neighbors and host coffee houses. There's a variety of ways to do it. When I ran last time, I made people one promise: to work hard every single day for the people of Rhode Island, to fight for the things I knew we needed to do to get our country back on track, to get Rhode Island back on track. I want to end by saying this is a really hard time for Rhode Islanders. I'm all across our district, and people are hurting. And you know, when you're losing your house and you can't find a job, it's hard to get people excited about working on a campaign or even voting. And our responsibility is to make sure people understand what's at stake, how much worse it will get if a set of folks that are currently leading the Congress lead the Senate or, God forbid, take the White House. And so we really have to make that case. And the thing that has been most gratifying to me is my district office staff, led by Chris Fiero, who's here somewhere, has solved over 800 individual cases for people, you know, who didn't get a Social Security check, who couldn't get to the VA. You know, in this kind of economy, having your VA, or having your Social Security check held up for a month can make a difference between getting food or not. And it's those individual cases that we've been able to solve that have really made a difference in the lives of people. So while we work on big stuff in Washington, it's also delivering services every day to people in this district, whether it was the housing fair, the senior resources fair, ways that I can just get information to people about resources that are available. That's also part of my job. So I'll end by saying we have a lot of work to do. This is going to be an exciting campaign, a lot of hard work, but it's a really important fight for Rhode Island and for our country. We have to take the House back, and just to give you a sense of how we can do it, there are 18 seats that President Obama won and John Kerry won that currently have Republicans in. So those are really Democratic districts. Conservatives, if you only win half of those, we have 9. There are 60 seats that President Obama won that currently have Republicans. All we need is 15. We'll get our 24 and take back the House. They have to hold on to almost everything. So this is something we can and must do. But none of it works unless we send 2 Democrats from our great state. So with your help, I know we'll do that. Thank you.